Hey guys, let's talk about resolution. So, when dealing with art and imagery on the computer, we have to worry about resolution. It's an important part to make sure that we get the quality we're expecting. Now, a lot of us, when we don't really understand how this works, make a few mistakes that can cause problems. So, I've created a little guide that I want to share with you guys, which explains how resolution works or gives you some basic formulas to understand what you're getting. So, basically, when you're working with imagery, you want to make sure rule number one is you want to get the highest quality you can. So make sure that your camera is set to the high setting, that when you're working in Photoshop, you're using a dimension that matches the actual intended print size. So this formula kind of explains that. You've got maybe, let's say, an 11 by 17 in inches is going to be 3,300 by 5,100 pixels, and so on. And so this little chart breaks down common sizes and what you want to set your art to when you set up that file in Photoshop. Now, there are a lot of people that are starting to use Procreate and other programs to make their digital art. You really want to make sure that you have selected the right image size before you work, because there's nothing worse than working on a beautiful painting or an illustration or something in digital and then come to find out that it's low quality, low res, and it's not going to print or work the way you intended. Also, another thing to pay attention to is what we call aspect ratio. That's where we're talking about something that's square, rectangular, vertical rectangle, and so on. And those sizes are predetermined. And a lot of times there are templates and presets that you can select in Photoshop or Procreate that match those sizes. Um, in my experience, what you want for a print is going to be different than what's going to work in social media or some other online format. The TV, the computer screen is horizontal and it's a wide format. But when you put something on the wall, you usually want kind of a larger, tall format that is going to work for a poster, let's say, but it's not going to work for the screen. And so there's always some cropping and issues to deal with. So that's another thing that you have to kind of deal with when working in digital art is you got to realize that I'm going to have to adjust and modify my work to fit whether it's in print or digital. And so again, what comes down to is the safe thing to do is just make that file as large as you can. That doesn't mean go crazy, but at 300 DPI, make it at least actual size or maybe even 50% larger, just to be safe so you can enlarge it or use it in other formats as needed. So hopefully that helps, explains a little bit of what resolution is all about. Check the link below so you can download my free chart. It'll be a handy reference for you, or take a look at some of my other courses if you want to learn more about digital art and design.